Bye-week questions for Coach?
Our first concern right now is health. McCauley's going to be an end-of-the-week deal before we'll even have a clue as to whether or not we'll have him for BYU. Guys like Hecking, Hassan Henderson's got some nagging stuff going on. Cody, we're going to rest some guys this week. We're not going to, as we practice, we're going to try and get some guys that. Matt Gallus is another example. We're going to try and get some guys that are dinged up some rest because obviously BYU is a very good football team and our best chance is to be as healthy as we can be. So our deal right now will be to try and get as healthy as we can be here during the bye. Randy Horton has had a thigh bruise, a significant one, and it seems there may be some complications. Because the thing has swollen up really significantly post-workout this morning. So his availability moving forward, I really have no clue about. Other than Horton and McCauley going into the BYU game, I think we're going to get Bradley back, and I think other than those two, Horton and McCauley, who I would call questionable as we stand here right now, I think everybody else should be okay to go. We didn't do much on Sunday. We brought the team in for a stretch and a light workout, and then we had our team photo on Sunday afternoon, and then we got everybody, players and coaches, out of the building. Yesterday we did not meet with the players. It's Monday is a normal players' day off so that they can focus on academics. So they will come in today at 1 o'clock. We'll have a brief team meeting. We'll have a special teams meeting where we'll watch selected plays from the San Jose State game, and then they'll have a position meeting where we'll have cut-ups of San Jose State. We won't watch the whole thing, but just some plays to teach off of, and then we'll introduce BYU, and we'll have about an hour-and-a-half workout this afternoon that will be focused on individual attention to the younger players and then to BYU introduction for the veterans. Tomorrow will look pretty similar, although the meeting time will be spent focused on BYU alone, and then we'll have another BYU practice on Wednesday, and on Thursday the vets will go out into the stadium. We'll run them and just make sure that we're stretching their legs out, and the younger players are going to come out in full gear, and we're going to scrimmage, and we're gonna get some of these younger guys and some older players that may not be getting a ton of playing time in games. We're going to get them some significant reps of real football and try to use that as an evaluation tool and use that as a chance to see them compete and how much they've improved now here over the course of a season. This weekend is going to be focused as a staff on recruiting. The players are going to have they'll be off from the end of classes on Friday until Sunday evening, and then our focus as a staff, certainly on Thursday, more than half the staff will be out on the road. Friday, the entire staff will be out, including myself, and we're going to see players. And obviously, recruiting is always a priority, but as we head towards the end of the year, it's something that we need to kick into high gear here because we're about to head into a contact period. So with all that being said, I'll take any questions that anybody might have.
Coach, on McCauley, the fact that he's questionable, is that easy to say that it wasn't as bad as it looked on Saturday night?
Yeah, it looked bad, and he was in a lot of pain, and thankfully the x-rays were negative. The knee brace that we require our offensive linemen to wear, and just about everybody in America does, but the knee brace saved the knee. I mean, had he not been wearing the brace, we'd be talking about a pretty significant knee injury. So we got lucky that way. It's really a sprained ankle and a sprained knee, both, and what we've got to do is just get him to the end of the week and see how he's feeling before we could even venture a guess as to what his availability might be for BYU. We are a banged-up football team, and it's late in the year, so I'm not going to complain about the bye week right now. Plus, BYU's got – I would rather play BYU with them coming off of a game at Notre Dame as opposed to Idaho State at home. I think, they're a talented football team, and that quarterback's really good. And obviously everybody knows Van Noy's pretty good. So, I would rather have them have to play another game and us get 2 weeks to prepare, because it's going to be a steep challenge no matter what.
Brian, you mentioned something yesterday in the luncheon about the West Coast JCs and how a lot of them aren't academic, guys.
Mm-hmm.
How much does that help you moving forward, and how much of a surprise was that for you when you got here?
That's a new experience for me. I was a little jaded when it came to junior college players, because my only experience coaching out west is at Stanford, where you don't deal with junior college prospects. And then, the rest of my experience was, East, Midwest, Southwest. And guys who go to junior college back there, for the most part, I don't want to, create a total blanket statement here, but most of them were non-qualifiers coming out of high school, and they're trying to get their academics in order, and you have to be very careful. Out here, I've learned quickly, and the guys that have recruited out west have helped to educate me, that there are a lot of guys that will go to junior college as qualifiers, and you can get guys that may only have been there for a year, that went there as qualifiers to get re-recruited or hopefully grow a little bit, or play another year of football. And there are guys that will be that will have 4 years to compete for 3 coming out of junior colleges, that will be very intriguing to us. That's something that we're interested in, because we have some holes in this depth chart because of some attrition, and specifically offensive line, where an entire class is missing. And if you just keep loading up, 5, 6 in a class, well, then they're all going to graduate at the same time, and you have the same issues. If you can find a couple junior college prospects to plug in to where you lost some guys, it can help balance the numbers back out, and hopefully get you some prospects that are more physically prepared to play quickly on the line of scrimmage. There's a difference between an 18-year-old high school senior and a 19-year-old guy that played versus college players in a junior college for a year. It's like going to a prep school. There's value there. So it's been an education, and I think it's possible that you could see anywhere between 4 and 6 mid-year signees for us that will arrive in January, because we have some holes to fill.
Where Boom Goes the Dynamite, where did that come from?
I got to be careful here. I can't tell you why I tweet that. I have a friend, I believe it was Pete Thamel from Sports Illustrated. Kevin Sumlin used to tweet out, "Yes, sir," and I copied Kevin when I first arrived, and Pete Thamel challenged me to say "Boom Goes the Dynamite," and I could care less if people think it's cheesy, so I did it. It's kind of caught on, and I remember that all started with the YouTube clip of a sports anchor saying "Boom Goes the Dynamite." My wife thought it was hysterical. It's still one of her favorite clips of all time, so I just went with it.
So. Doing something on Joel Bitonio, you talked about his pro prospects. What makes him potentially high round NFL draft pick?
Well, he's 305 to 10 pounds right now, and very light on his feet. He can lower his pads. He plays with power. I think he could, if somebody said, okay, he's got versatility. He could finish a game in the National Football League as a tackle, but I think he'll be a guard or a center in the league, and I think he knows that too. But he's so versatile, and he's so intelligent. And in the league, they're looking for low-maintenance guys. They're looking for guys that are going to come to work every day, be able to take concepts from the classroom out to the practice field, be a low-rep guy. He's got every intangible that an NFL team would want. Plus, he's got real ability. And it's been a joy to watch Joel go from not even a preseason All Mountain West selection, which baffled me. To I'm going to vote for him for first team All Mountain West Conference, and I have no problem saying if he's not first team All Mountain West Conference, it'll be a crime. He's been great all year, and I think just all the combination of physical tools with great intangibles and high intelligence make him very valuable in the eyes of the National Football League. And the highest compliment I can give him is that when scouts ask me about him, my answer to the scouts is, if my father or my brother, who do this for a living, or at least my dad did, if they asked me, I would stand on the table for the kid. I would put my name next to him and not think twice about it. And that's the highest compliment I can give him when it comes to the NFL stuff.
How do you think his teammates kind of look at him, as far as what he's given to this program and how much he cares about it?
I think the veterans admire him because they understand how hard he's worked, and they also understand the adversity he's gone through in his personal life while he's been here in school. And I think the younger guys really look up to him because they see a guy as a really good player, and not just against people in the Mountain West Conference. I mean, he played really good against UCLA and Florida State, which has got some of the best people in the country. So I think the older guys respect him a great deal, and I think the younger guys really look up to him. And like I said a couple of weeks ago, the best thing our seniors can do right now, guys like Arenzi, guys like Wimberly, guys like Batonio, the guys that consistently play really well and do everything right, the lasting legacy and little bit of help that they could give us here at the end is to sit down with the younger guys and say, all right, this is how I do it, and this is why I do it that way, and help educate them past just example. Sit down and teach them, this is why I do it this way, and this is why I've been successful.
You guys have shuffled the line quite a bit with injuries and depth issues. I mean, could you imagine what this line would have looked like without Joel?
No, and I don't want to. I mean, I didn't want to imagine what it would look like if Gallus got hurt, and Matt has been dinged up the whole year, and a couple times just couldn't go, and that was scary. The thought of being out there without Joel, I mean, that would have been sketchy. It would have been sketchy. So thank goodness we've made it this far, and we've got one more to go. And, his durability is worth mentioning, too. I mean, there are guys on this team that we've had to nurse through weeks of practice, and, Joel's been dinged up, too, and Joel's never been a guy that came in and said, hey, I can't go today. I mean, he's practiced every practice, and there are times that we've had to pull him out and sit him down and say, hey, we got you. But I mean, he's the lunch pail guy, comes to work every day. So
he hasn't missed a play since like the Hawaii game, right?
I don't think so. I think we may have pulled him out at the end of the game Saturday night. I think we had some younger guys in. I can't recall. I know he's never, he's never come out on his own. I know that. So.
Coach John Jackson had a game on Saturday. Took him a while. I know he's banged up a lot, but is this starting to see things better? Maybe that jump from JC to Mountain West?
It's probably a combination of things, and I'm probably not best suited to answer it. I can only tell you that, what you saw Saturday night is the guy that we knew we had. We saw flashes of that in spring football. Then he got a little dinged up at the end of spring. And then the high ankle, I mean, that's not an easy thing for a skill player. It's one thing to be able to feel well enough to go out and play. It's another thing completely to feel completely right. And clearly he's feeling better. And I'm sure there was a transition from junior college football to Division 1A. There is for everybody. But I think obviously, he played well Saturday night. It was good to see.
Coach, you take an approach with the BYU game as that being your bowl game, since the team's not going to be eligible. Do you use that as a motivating factor?
I haven't given that much thought, to be honest with you. And we're at a place where you've been to 8 straight bowl games, so I don't want to. I almost don't want to insult that run by saying this is our bowl game. if we deserved to be in a bowl game, we'd be in a bowl game. We're not. It's unfortunately, and that is what it is. But I'm not going to try to create something that's not there. I mean, BYU's a really good football team. It's a nationally recognized name here at home, and it's our last opportunity in the 13th season. And if we need any more motivation than that, then we got the wrong guys. And I don't feel that way. I think we'll practice well, and we'll go compete well, just like we did last Saturday night.
Could this, like, winning a game like this, create momentum for next year? Is there such a long break between now and spring?
No, it could. Yeah, I mean, if you win the game, if you can finish the season by winning two, especially after the skid that we had and the adversity, there's no doubt. I mean, look, I think Saturday night creates some momentum. I think when you can show prospects and our fans and our supporters and our administration, when you can show them progress, concrete progress, I think it's a positive thing. We got a real opponent coming in, and it'll be a challenge. But yeah, sure, if we could win it, would it create momentum into the off season? Sure, it does. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. It's good to win a game headed into a bye. Instead of 2 weeks of, what happened again. It's 2 weeks of, boy, we're talking about positive things, which is good. I mean, I'm not naive to that. So.
You spoke yesterday about the mental and physical toughness, being combined, and what you're going to put this group through in the off season. I mean, is there a point in the year when you said we're just not mentally there enough to be able to win games, when it matters in the fourth quarter?
Yeah, there were probably a couple of points when I felt that way. I mean, you look back at the difficult thing is it's revisionist history, and hindsight is 20/20. But to look at San Diego State, UNLV, Boise up 10 at the half, Colorado State up 1 at the half, held them to 50 yards rushing in the first half. You saw flashes of what we were capable of, and why can't we play this way consistently? Why can't we physically and mentally finish games? And there's a myriad of reasons, and there's nobody to blame for it. It just is what it is. I mean, you think back, you say, well, this team was 7-5 last year and bowl eligible. Yeah, and there were 7 or 8 guys off of this team that went on to NFL training camps. And in a Mountain West program, when you put 7 or 8 guys into NFL training camps, that's hard to replace. It is, and especially on defense, we're still young. So you say, well, this is a 7-5 team. Why are we struggling like this? Because a lot of the guys hadn't played before. People like Rossetti and people like Virgil Green and Sudfeld, and Virgil wasn't on last year's team, but Sudfeld and Jefferson and Duke and Wooten. I mean, these guys had been in the battles. They had been through it. They had been hardened through experience, and as much as I would have liked to and tried to fast forward our development when it came to the mental and physical toughness that comes along with playing 70 plays a game or 80 plays a game on defense as opposed to simply running down on kicking plays, which is what a lot of our guys were doing last year. I mean, nobody's to blame for it. I can't put my finger on it as to why. I know that we're getting better, and that's all that we can ask for, and it's going to be a point of emphasis in the offseason is our ability to execute and think in critical situations when we're tired. And the only way to do that is to make them tired and force them to think and execute. And we've got to do that in January, February, March, April, and not wait until August.
So the off-season conditioning and all that will be pretty vastly different from what you guys went through last year?
I think it'll be more demanding. It's not going to be brutal. I mean, I'm not trying to run guys off. I don't want to give people the impression of that. But clearly we need to be demanding. We need to be demanding in the weight room, on the field, in the classroom, socially. We need to be demanding, and we're going to do that. And people say, well, why didn't you do that the first time around? The bottom line is you really don't know your team until you've gone through a season with them. I thought I had an idea after spring football, thought I had a better idea after training camp, but until you go through a season with your team, playing games and seeing how certain guys react in certain situations, you really don't know. And I feel like our staff knows this team significantly better now than we did on August 30th. There's no doubt in my mind. So now we have a better idea of what our strengths and weaknesses are. We can try to accentuate our strengths, and we can work as hard as we can to take our weaknesses and make them better. So. Anything else? Good to see everybody. Thank you.
Joel, do you like having a bye this week to get ready for BYU, or after the win, kind of just want to get right back up?
I don't know. It's kind of end of the season, so it's tough. We don't have a bowl game this year and stuff, so it'd probably be a little bit nicer if we didn't have a bye. But it's good. We get to be with the team a little bit longer. We get to have some fun to practice, and it should be. It's all right. Either way would have been fine.
Is there a sense of relief on the team that finally got out of that slide?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if we call it relief, but we were definitely excited to win, and you could tell the energy of the team has kind of changed, even though it's just one game. A lot of the players a lot more upbeat today, and it's just a much better atmosphere today.
Joel, talk about the importance of Jeremy McCollum. He went down for injury, but how far he's come, what he means to the offensive line.
He's a big part of the offensive line. He's a good kid, and he works hard. And anytime, the whole season we've been banged up on the O-line, and it's tough. The last few years we've had usually a pretty solid 5 guys, and you've seen dividends of that, in games. And when you put together 5 strong O-linemen, usually that work well together, usually you're going to be pretty successful out there, and he's came a long way. I didn't know if he was going to be the starter this year or not, but all spring he was kind of working with me, and he does everything he needs to do to get better, from watching film to asking questions, and he's going to be a good player for the Wolfpack for a few years here.
How hard is it to stay focused, just knowing that all these scouts are coming to watch you and that your next step is probably big time?
It's not too hard. I know I need to, finish the season this year first and play for my brothers and play for my teammates and stuff, and it's all part of the process. You always know, you got your senior year and stuff, but it's definitely exciting knowing that there's a future. Hopefully Saturday won't be my last game, and I have a chance to play in the future, but it's going to be emotional either way, and I'm excited that I have the opportunity when it comes.
How have you seen the attention on you change from the beginning of the year to now? I mean, you're getting mentioned for national awards, you were singled out in the ESPN article. I mean, have you noticed a change in the spotlight on you personally?
A little bit, and it's exciting, It's exciting to hear my name getting thrown around and get some recognition and stuff like that. I'm very excited for it, and I'm just excited for the opportunity to go and compete and hopefully have a chance to play at the highest level.
Talk a little bit about your selection of the Senior Bowl.
That was very, very cool. Coach Pullian told me on Thursday and gave me the invite, and I was just very excited for the opportunity. Going into the year, I didn't know if I had a chance or not, but I'm glad they took some notice and gave a kid from Nevada a chance, and I'm excited to compete with those guys and see what it's all about.
You mentioned at the luncheon yesterday too that when he told the team, I'd imagine in a locker room or a meeting or something, that everybody was really excited for you. How did that feel? What did that mean to you to hear that from your teammates?
It was fun. It was it was an exciting time, and I don't know. I love those guys, man, and we've been through a lot of things, and I want the best for each and every one of them, and it was just great to have that recognition, and the teammates gave me some a good standing ovation and stuff like that. It was fun.
Anything else for Joel? All right, thanks. Bring it on.
How you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
I'm good.
Go ahead. Questions for Don.
How nice was it the other night to have that breakout run?
Felt good. Felt really good, actually. I mean, to finally just get in open space and I guess showed I can do a little bit. So it was good.
Sorry. How difficult has this year been for you? I mean, you had that nagging injury for a long time. It's got to be frustrating to not be 100% out there and do what you can do.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's actually really, really frustrating. But it wasn't the first time I've been through it. And I just tried my best to, just stay in my Bible and just keep talking to my coaches and my teammates and stay motivated. Because, it would be easy to kind of just shut it down, because the season's not going the way I planned it, in both aspects, me personally and the team as a whole. But like I said, I just tried my best to stay motivated and that, at some point, it would subside and I'll have a little bit of success.
This team finally had a breakout game running the ball for 300 yards.
Mhm.
Is that what you kind of imagined that this team was capable of?
Yeah. Just that game was just a true definition of what we felt we could do all season. We just had, I can't talk about the past too much because it's already done. We just had to find a way in the future just to play full games like we did against San Jose.
Do you like the timing of the bye after a win? Do you like to get right back in there and play BYU, or do you like having an extra week to prepare for the season finale?
I think it's a big game. Like I had said on Saturday night, this game is what can carry a lot of momentum into next season. So I feel like if we prepare as best as we possibly can, and then we'll be successful.
As a player, do you like having that extra week off, or would you rather get right back in there?
It helps the body. It helps the body, and I think it is actually good for the team though, and for me personally. I mean, you get time to really study an opponent like BYU that can hurt you in many different ways. You know what I mean?
Don, what have you learned about or appreciated about Joel? In the 1 year you get to play behind him.
I mean, I don't know. I wish I could find a way to show my appreciation of Joel because that guy, I work out with him every time we lift. I mean, he's been on me since I've gotten here. He's been just a positive impact, on just me being here. And like I said, I wish I could find a way to repay him because he deserves everything that he's getting. I mean, I'm so happy that finally that he's, his name's starting to ring around places, and because if anybody deserves a shot at the next level, it's going to be him, and I feel he'll be real successful.
What do you mean he's been on you?
He's just, like I said, I lift with him. He talks with me through lifts and makes sure I'm doing those things right. And on the field, if things aren't going my way, he's just like, just stick with it. He's always in my ear, like, we'll be fine. And he leads very good. Everybody else on the team just looks at what Joel does, and that's hard work. That's Nevada football right there, Joel Bitonio.
Anything else for Mr. Jackson? All right. Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks.
You know, it felt good. It makes my life a lot easier when we're moving the ball in the rushing game the way we were, because then they start low in the box, and then it's easy to take the quick game stuff. So, you know, anytime you can establish a run game the way we did in that game, it makes everyone's job a lot easier.
One of those things where you thought this team was capable of a game like that all season.
You know, that was what we can do. You know, if we put together a full game offensively and defensively, you can see how good we are. But, you know, unfortunately, up to this point, that was when we put together our full, complete game, and it was towards the end of the season.
You like the timing of this bye? You like to get right back on the field and face BYU, or do you like to get an extra week to prepare?
You know, I feel like a lot of guys are banged up. It's late in the season, so we'll always take an extra week late in the season just to, you know, heal everything up and get some extra film work against our opponent.
For a sense of maybe relief that you guys are out of that skid?
Yeah, you know, you can see it last Sunday after the game, just working out and stuff. There's a smile on people's faces, and people were having a good time and kind of restored the fun in football.
Cody, you got one win, maybe two in these last couple of games. How important is that, to establish for next season?
I think it's big, especially for the young guys, you know, just to learn that, you know, we're a good football team, and if we play all together, we can win football games. And, you know, I feel like we've got a great tradition here of winning games and going to bowl games, and, you know, we missed the opportunity this year, so we're going to be hungry, especially for next year. But, you know, we got to finish this season strong, and 2 wins will help us greatly in the offseason.
And then Chris is doing something on Joel. You've had a chance to play with him for 3 years. What has he meant to you and to this program?
You know, he's the man. There's no other way to describe him. He's a beast on the field and a big teddy bear off the field. All summer I worked with him. He was actually my boss over at the dorms because he's worked there for 3 years, and it was my first year. And, you know, just getting closer to him and you know, what we've built throughout this offseason, and him moving to left tackle, and the bond we've shared of being leaders together, you know, it's pretty great, and I'm definitely going to miss him next year.
Are you happy, you know, with some of the recognition he's getting, and, you know, clearly he's going to be a draft pick next year?
Yeah, you know, it's about time, to be honest. I feel like he's been overlooked the past couple of years. He's obviously continued to get better, and he's not a complainer. He hasn't complained about the spotlight at all, one bit. But, you know, finally he's getting his chance, his spotlight, and it's good for him.
Cody, your own line's been banged up all year as a quarterback, and how does that change your game?
You know, I feel like we've all been banged up. It's just try to not take unnecessary hits. And, you know, when we got some inexperienced guys in there like the Colorado State game, it's hard to get a rhythm going. And, you know, but last week you can see when everyone's healthy and everyone's back how dangerous we can be offensively. And so, you know, I'm just looking forward to finishing out the season strong, hopefully getting another victory, and going into the offseason getting better. You know, he's a guy who's we joke around with him. He's a tryhard. You know, he's a guy who wasn't supposed to start in the beginning of the year, but, you know, he proved otherwise and just came out every day and did what he was told and just continued to get better. And you can see it on film how much better he's got from week 1 to now. And, you know, we're definitely going to utilize him next year, and he's going to be a big leader for us on offensive line next year.
Were you able to take a deep breath just during the San Jose State game when, you know, the defense held San Jose State just 1 touchdown, 54 yards on the ground?
Yeah, you know, that's awesome. Anytime you're not pressured to score every drive, it makes it a lot easier on the offense. And the play calling, you know, we don't have to get it all back in one play. You know, we can just continue to chip away and take some time off the clock and move the ball the way we did. So, you know, everything kind of fell into our hands that game. And, you know, it was a great team win offensively and defensively and special teams wise. And, you know, hopefully we put another one like that together against BYU. The defense or everybody? You know, I think just the statement of how we got to run to the ball and stuff is what they stressed a lot this week. And, you know, guys started to believe more in the system and stuff. And so I think it's just the fact that guys are believing more, and they know they're good and they know what they're capable of doing. But, you know, we've been kind of on the wrong side almost every game. So it's been good to see that they've got some confidence going, especially into a BYU team who's got a great offense.
I'm just curious if you're mad at us for asking to talk to you after 5 straight losses and then not asking to talk to you.
Oh, no. I was like, oh, maybe that's a gift for me. Yeah, it was nice. I was like, do you want media? He's like, no. I was like, yes.
Thanks, sir. Yeah.